Hey everybody, how's it going? My wife and I recently managed to kill our first big game animal together. In the past we've hunted waterfowl and some varmint here and there, but she's never actually been with me when I took any big game. So one Friday night we went out after work and managed to get a wild boar. So to kind of commemorate that time together and that big event for us, I decided to make her a knife using all hand tools, things that I've for the most part just kind of have in the garage, having a toolkit. And I'm gonna base it on a series of videos from Simple Little Life. So shout out to you for making such an easy to follow great video. Alright, so here's the O1 tool steel that I got from Amazon. Here's a template that I'm gonna trace onto the steel and then cut it out. The blade is actually based on a fixed blade knife that I already have, and the handle I just kind of freehand and winged it, so it'll be interesting to see how it fits her hand and how the knife actually feels once it's all said and done. There we go. Alright, this is way harder than I thought it was going to be with the jig. Sorry with the hacksaw, but it's coming along. I need to get a permanent marker to actually trace my outline, but I'm making do with what I have. But I'll just keep turning the camera back on every now and then because this is going to take a while. Well, still have some work to do on it. It's not perfect shape, but I think it's a good start. Alright, so it looks like I bared down on the saw a little bit too much and the metal is slightly bent. So I have clamped it to my workbench and I'm going to leave it for, I don't know, a few hours, see what it looks like, and if it hasn't changed, maybe look at bending it in the vise, but I don't want to put too much pressure on it. So it's only a little bit of a bend, but we'll see how it works out. Alright, so at this point I've got it nice and straightened out, and I'm going to go ahead and start the filing process just to clean up all of the edges, get rid of any of these little burrs and snags, and just clean things up before we get started on putting an edge. Alright, so I've got the knife pretty well sanded down. It's got a little bit of a finish to it, it's starting to look pretty good actually. I'm kind of surprised. Do still have some tool marks and some spots where I got a little crazy with the saw, but for the most part I'm liking the way it looks. Now I'm going to add jimping on the top of the blade to kind of give it that extra feeling of security when it's in your hand. Alright, so here's one of the hindquarters from the boar we shot. The idea is to take the femur out and turn that into the bone handle, and with the rest of the meat I'm going to make a smoked ham. Alright, there we go, one end off. There's our marrow right there in the middle. And keep going on the other end and then start getting it cleaned up. Cut both ends off, soaked it in soap water for a few hours yesterday, and it's looking pretty clean. Got the marrow out of there. Now I'm going to soak it in a little bit of bleach just to get it that nice white color. Well, I hope. Pulled the bone out of the bleach because I read basically that that's the worst thing you can do, and I've already boiled it, which also sounds like one of the worst things you can do. So pulled it out, put it in the oven to dry a little bit, probably another horrible thing to do to it, but I'm going to soak it in hydrogen peroxide to get it clean.
As much as hunting, watching grizzly bears.
Well, we've had all kinds of weather today.
All right, that confirms it. Putting in hydrogen peroxide after the oven treatment was, and I did let it cool. It wasn't right away. You might even still hear it cracking, but there it is. So, looks like I will not be using this in the way I had hoped, but I may still be able to get some slivers out of it just to inlay into the handle. So I'll have to buy a wood or a micarta handle, and then I'll just inlay a piece of the bone into it. So, all right, well, that didn't work. Damn it. Been working on this for about an hour, I guess. I wanted to get it on camera, but kind of got carried away and broke it a lot. So I think my idea is just to take this piece of bone fragment that I've kind of carved down and sanded down to try and make it look as much as I can like an incisor from a boar's jaw. Just going to put this in the knife handle, and I'm only going to do one side because honestly I don't think I can do it again without breaking it. I just got kind of lucky that this fractured down into the shape that it did. So I might give it a go, but we'll see. A lot of time invested, and I just don't know if it's going to really pay off. Got the holes drilled. Now I'm going to drill the right size for my pin that I bought. Now what were they, after looking around the internet, apparently a 1/4 inch pin needs a 6.5 millimeter drill bit for a nice fit. So we'll see. Alright, moment of truth. There we go. Alright, so got the jig made up. Got the screw there so that I don't mess up the plunge line. Get a nice clean straight line where the bevel of the blade starts. Got everything from Home Depot, so this sounds like it's going to be the kind of long, boring, miserable part of this whole thing. So we'll see how it goes, see how long it takes. It's a lot of material to move, but here we go. Didn't really film the filing process because it's just extremely boring and took a long time, but this is the side before being sanded. Everything's filed down now. This is the side before being sanded, and this is after being sanded. So you can see it's got much more of a kind of shiny mirror finish. Definitely still some more work to do. Not too happy with my bevel. Came a little too high on one side, but oh well. Well, at least I know it's sharp. epoxy has set. I've got it sanded how I like it. I'm going to go ahead and put on the Danish oil finish, and hopefully she likes it. Here we go, finished product. Personally, I think the sheath came out like a first grader's project, something that your kid would make out of popsicle sticks and you'd hang it on the fridge to make them feel special. But anyway, I think she'll like it. She's not really one to care too much about how pretty it is if you put that much thought into it and effort. So I'm thinking she'll like it. Knife definitely has its flaws, but again, not things that I think she'll notice. I think she's going to appreciate it. I'll probably always look at it and think, oh, I'd have done this better. Oh, I should have done this differently. But if I ever do another one, at least I learned a lot.